how tonight's going to work is I'll do an introduction and I'll introduce you to Devorah, who heads up our Ramat Beit Shemesh team. And we're going to just talk a little bit about the buying process in Israel as well, for those of you who haven't been on any of our webinars before. Sorry, I'm just turning off WhatsApp on my phone so we don't keep getting a beeping sound here. Hold on one second. Okay, hope that. Okay. And how tonight's going to work is I'll do an introduction and I'll introduce you to Devorah, who heads up our Ramat Beit Shemesh team. And we're going to just talk a little bit about the buying process in Israel as well, for those of you who haven't been on any of our webinars before. Sorry, I'm just turning off WhatsApp on my phone so we don't keep getting a beeping sound here. Hold on one second. Okay, hope that. Okay. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, my name is Kim Bash, and I am South African. Have been living in Israel for more than, it's going on 19 years. Embarrassed to say that my Hebrew is basically non-existent, embarrassingly so. So one of the things I tell people that are thinking about making Aliyah, even if it's not in the near future, to definitely start learning the language, because unfortunately I got very lazy, and I live in the old city and everybody here speaks English. And because I work a lot, mostly only with Anglos, I just kind of pretended that I didn't need the Hebrew. So it definitely helps to have Hebrew. You can live without Hebrew, but I recommend that everybody does definitely do some kind of online or PAN, or there's so many different things that you can do nowadays anyway. There are learning programs, one-on-one programs, there's group programs online, but it definitely is one of the things I say is do Opan. And if you are coming, start getting rid of all the things in your house that you won't be able to fit into your Israeli size apartments in Israel. Okay, so hold on, I've got more people coming on. Okay, so I have been involved in real estate for more than 10 years. And I started in short-term rentals, and then a lot of my clients were asking me about buying opportunities. So I went and studied to become a real estate agent and did a whole course. And I've been working in the industry now, as I said, for more than 10 years. And I was, for the last, I would say 7 years, I worked in a luxury boutique company, which mostly was selling high-end luxury real estate. And then I got more involved in Aliyah, and I decided if I was going to do this 24/7, which is what I'm doing, I wanted to really have meaning in what I'm doing. And for me, bringing people back to Israel is a very big mission of mine, and I very much believe in that every Jew should be in Israel, if you can. So I started getting involved about a year ago in creating, it was just after COVID, a series called Find Me a Community in Israel, because one of the biggest problems that many people were having is where they should go. They know Renana, they know Netanya, they know Jerusalem, they know Tel Aviv, but where else in Israel is, number one, also more affordable, and are there more Anglo-friendly communities? So I started doing a lot of research, and every week we have been, most weeks, showcasing a different area in Israel. And we have some amazing, amazing communities. For those of you who have not seen our previous videos, we have it on YouTube. It's under Kim Bash Real Estate, Find Me a Community in Israel. And we have several also how to buy a home in Israel webinars. So just check that out. And I'm happy to also schedule a consultation with anybody one-on-one to talk about the different opportunities, if it's not what we're talking about tonight, which is Ramat Beit Shemesh. So one of the things I do is I don't just concentrate. I don't believe that, some people may be buying for investment, but if people are making Aliyah, I'm very much into the fact that a house is not just a house. It's just, 4 walls, but it's when you find your community, that's really when you find your home. So for us, we really like to try and, if you want to say, be the matchmakers, the shadchan of finding you the right place in Israel to live. Right now, the industry is a little crazy. I've never ever seen it so busy in all my time in real estate. I'm selling properties over Zoom right now. I think that the skies are opening up now, especially if you have been vaccinated, they are allowing people into the country. So we're having a lot of people that are booking now for the summer, as well as coming for Sukkot. And I think that it's only going to get busier and busier. There is a lot of demand and not enough necessary supply. There's building everywhere in Israel right now, but it really depends on where you want to go. So I had 2 calls this morning, for example, from people from LA who both are not ready to make Aliyah yet, but they definitely want to get their foot in the door. So they are looking at different real estate opportunities that they can buy now on paper possibly. And maybe in a couple of years they will make Aliyah, but they know that they've actually secured a property in Israel. Okay, so we look for opportunities that we think are good investments, good opportunities, where we see a trend, where we see buying. So the reason why we chose Ramat Beit Shemesh is because it was a very popular landing place for many Anglos over, many years now. It's, I would say, over the last 15 years, many people have invested and are very happy living there. There's lots of different opportunities, especially in the new developments that are happening. So I'm going to introduce now Devorah, who is heading up our Ramat Beit Shemesh team. And she's a rock star, and she has been finding amazing opportunities for our clients. So I was actually in Ramat Beit Shemesh today looking at properties for clients, but I really want Devorah. I live in, as I said, in Jerusalem. I live in New York City. Devorah is really on the ground. She knows exactly what's going on there. So I wanted to hand over to her to introduce herself and just to give you a heads up about what's going on with the real estate opportunities in the neighborhood. So
hi, everybody. How are you doing? So nice to see some familiar faces and names, and I've talked to a lot of you. So excited to be able to be here as a reference and a guide and support for you on this journey, because I know it can be a bit nerve-wracking and exciting all at the same time. So I have a little presentation I'm going to show you in a few minutes. It's going to give a little bit of an overview, but what I wanted to just give you is like a thought, some ideas to think about. First of all, Ramat Beit Shemesh is like a really great melting pot of all different kinds of people and hashkafas and backgrounds. And there's, a few different areas. It starts really in the Beit Shemesh community, which is a blend of, there's like a very nice yeshivish community there, as well as a secular community there, and a little bit in between. And then there's the shopping center that we all go to, which is called Big Fashion. And there's a mall there, and there's some strip centers there. There's like a bowling alley, there's supermarkets, there's all kinds of shopping for your house, and some like industrial center. And there's a little bit of everything, but people pretty much utilize that area and do a lot of their shopping over there. And from Ramat Beit Shemesh Aleph, it's about a 12-minute drive. Very quick, when there's buses that are going all the time. My kids go there on their own, they hop on the bus and they go over there. So that's in Beit Shemesh. And then as you drive towards Aleph, you go through Ramat Beit Shemesh Bet. And Bet is more of the Hasidish community. So it's extremely frum, and my kids don't really feel comfortable walking through there. But we all take the bus through there. We all drive through there. We've never had any incidents or any problems. But that is in Ramat Beit Shemesh Bet. And then you come into then actually it switches over after to Bet into Aleph, and then in Aleph it's massive, and there's a lot of different little areas within Aleph. And one of the newer areas that a lot of people know about is called Mishkafayim, and that actually is within Aleph. And there's about 22 new buildings that are over there, and there's also cottages and some standalone homes. And there's still some different things that are on the market for sale over there. And the cottages can go in price range from about 3.2 million shekels up to about 5.96 million shekels. There are some really massive private homes that people have, built, and they've let's say 8 or 9 bedrooms. That they've done some incredible things with. So they're not, they do come on the market every now and then, and they do turn quickly, but those are the kind of things that you can find over there in Mishkafim. And like average price is for let's say a 3-bedroom, which is called a 4-room over here. To rent is about 4,700 shekels a month, and to buy an apartment starts at about 1.7 million shekels for a 3-bedroom in the Mishkafim area. And but the people there are, it's again, there is some yeshivish families, but it's more of like a little bit of, let's say, modern Orthodox, Chardal. It's a little bit of a blend. It's a lot of younger couples, but there are a few older couples there as well, and there are a few older families. And but everybody who lives there really loves it. They like the feeling of the community. There's 3 parks there. It's really easy to like get on the highway to get to Yerushalayim or other parts of the country. And it's its own little hub right off of Aleph. And then across the street from where Mishkafim is this new community that's being built right now, which is really about a 2-year window from now till people could move in, but it's really building up very quickly, and it's called Ramat Beit Shemesh, which is also known as Neve Shamir. And there's about 8 different builders that are different properties. There's still about, let's say, altogether about 100 apartments or more still for sale over there that you can buy on paper. And those price ranges really, you can get in the door over there at about there's things as low as maybe like 1.6 million shekels for some 3-room apartments, 1.9 million shekels. There are even some 5-room apartments. I'm going to show you one. And then they're pretty much 2.2 to 2.4 is for 5-room apartments, 4 bedrooms. Is like the sweet spot for these Neve Shamir apartments. And you're going to get a brand new apartment with air conditioning and you're going to get the latest of everything that they have to offer over there. And most apartments also have beautiful views. You're overlooking the forest over there, or you're even looking into Ramat Beit Shemesh to the #1 park, which is called Gan Yarmut, which is like a gorgeous park there. And it actually, Gan Yarmut is now going to be extending into the Neve Shamir community. So you're going to be able to walk from this park into Aleph. I mean, basically really across the street from Ramat Beit Shemesh, Aleph, and Mishkafim. And then the next community is, I'm kind of just going, I'm not going exactly in order. Then there's Gimel, which has been, let's say about 3 years people have been living in Gimel. And it is a massive, massive community over there. And it is, I want to say primarily Hebrew speakers, but there are plenty of Anglos sprinkled in throughout the whole community. I'm happy to give anybody any phone numbers of Anglos who are living there now. And there's also a WhatsApp group that I'm also can give people the link for. And so there are different people, all different age ranges. I have some friends from Telstone, actually that's where I used to live. And they moved to Ramat Beit Shemesh Gimel, and some of their kids live in Gimel. It's all age ranges, all different backgrounds, but it's pretty, let's say, yeshivish feeling in Ramat Beit Shemesh Gimel. And but there's a lot of different beautiful properties. I have like a rental there right now. Let's say I have a penthouse rental there for asking for about 6,500 shekels a month, and it is a 3-bedroom, but it's really beautiful and it's upgraded, a beautiful kitchen, and it's available now. And I also have some private homes in Gimel. There are some stunning private homes in Ramat Beit Shemesh Gimel that are already built. It's turnkey. You basically bring your bags, drop them off, and you can move in because the homes are really they're well built, they're updated, updated, decorated, beautiful. So I have 2 homes in the 5.9 million shekel range. And they're about 6-bedroom homes. And and some different like layouts, different homes, but they're really absolutely stunning. And then I also have a few shells of a home, meaning like you would still need to finish off the project. It's all like the foundation is built, the walls are built, but the rest of the construction still needs to happen. And that one of them is it's two shells kind of connected. It's a semi-attached house, and each one is 3.2 million shekel. So just to give you an idea of different kind of pricing, there's like a whole range that you can get in Ramat Beit Shemesh Gimel. Then there's Ramat Beit Shemesh Daled, and this is also a brand new community that's developing. I think there's like going to be about, in the end, there's going to be about over like 100,000 apartments. I mean, it's massive. It goes on. It's like this when you drive, it's an incredible feeling. You're like, I feel like you're in the Wild West, just like rows and rows and rows of all these brand new, fabulous new apartment buildings. And only like one little section is now being lived in. People are moving in. So that's exciting. And there are some rentals there as well. And those are also in like the 4,200 shekel range for a 3-bedroom to 5,000 for a 4-bedroom. And God willing, later this week, I should have some inventory to show people. So if you're interested in that, you can make a private appointment with me and I can walk you through and show you some of the different options. There also are properties for sale within the Ramat Beit Shemesh Daled area. And also this neighborhood is going to be, again, a bit more yeshivish, but I do know there are the properties that I do have for sale range in the 1.9 to 3.2 range. And they're going to be an upgraded building, beautiful entrance and heated floors, air conditioning, upgraded kitchens, beautiful bathrooms. And this is kind of like a community, like there are people from Telstone who are moving there, people from England are moving there, some Australians, people from Harnof are moving there. And there is definitely going to be an Anglos mixed within this massive giant community. So that gives you a little bit of like some kind of information of what's going on there. And again, when I work with you privately, I'm happy to, review what your wants and your needs are, tell you what's happening on the ground, and then actually I can happily take you to any of these buildings, like during the time that's appropriate in our time schedule. I can go to the area where you're interested and give you like a video overview. So you can feel like you're there. And it depends on the Wi-Fi connection. I can either be live with you in the apartment, or I can videotape it for you beforehand, videotape, and then we can discuss it. So that's a little bit about the flavor of what's going on. And also just to let you know, like in Ramat Beit Shemesh, now in Eretz Israel, when we're outdoors, you don't need to be wearing a mask. So everybody's walking around without masks. Indoors, if you're in shopping and stores and things like that, people are still masked. And so it's a great feeling, at least, to be in the country without wearing a mask. It's incredible. And now also more events are opening up, like more shiurim, like on Shabbos. There was like nothing for the longest time. Now people are starting to have more shiurim on Shabbat, which is really nice. And also summer is like happening. So things are really heating up in the real estate market, whereas it's been like kind of tight, but now things are like more apartments are coming on the market. And things are going quickly. So if there's anything that you like, you really have to jump on it quickly. You have to say, Dvorah, I really am interested in this. What do we have to do? What are all the steps? How can we move forward? And I'll help you any which way I can. And if you see something else out there, let's say that I didn't bring to you, we all kind of share from the same type of apartments. So I could happily try and investigate for you what it is or what's going on out there. So without further ado, I'm going to try and share my screen to this presentation overview. Hold on. Present. Okay, this just kind of gives you like an overview of what the it's like an aerial view over here of what's going on. If here's Dalid, here's Ramat Beit Shemesh Gimel back here. This whole area we're in Aleph. In the back over here, we're Ramat Beit Shemesh Hey, which is also Neve Shamir. And right next to it, as I was saying, is Mishkafayim. And in the entrance over here into Aleph is what's called Ramat Beit Shemesh, Ramat Shiloh. Hang on a minute. Yep. Come on, take. I don't know what's going on.
Don't worry.
America and Canada and England, South Africa, all over. People are coming here because Ramat Beit Shemesh is a soft landing. There's an infrastructure waiting for you. We have schools, we have doctors, medical care, all speaking your language. What makes Ramat Beit Shemesh an incredible soft landing for you to come home. We also have beautiful homes and apartments, semi-attached villas, high-rises, penthouses, garden apartments, all waiting for you. I'm standing in a gorgeous new park on your roof, and it has walking lanes and bike paths and parks for kids. It's stunning here, beautiful weather. Ramat Beit Shemesh is welcome you to come home to Israel. Okay. Over here, I have a, I just took a quick snapshot, just again, giving you like a little bit of the aerial view of how far things are apart. So over here is on the top, the industrial park area and the industrial zone. Do you see what I'm talking about at the top of the page?
Yeah.
What?
Yes, you can see.
Oh, you can see. Okay, so that's where big fashion is. Over there in the industrial zone, and then so that's the Beit Shemesh community is right below that, and then right over there is also the Scheinfeld area, which is in Beit Shemesh, which is a really lovely community also, and it's a little bit more, it's a mix again of a lot of Anglos and yeshivish and Hardal. It's not as like Haredi from, it's a little bit more lighter, but it's a great community. And so right below then there's Beit Shemesh, and then here you go through Bet, and then you go down here, and then here is Aleph. I can move this screen over here. And here's Aleph, and then right off of Aleph is the Hay area. And below it is, on the other side is Gimel. And then over here is Dalid. Off of, to the behind Gimel is Dalid. But really, to get to Dalid, you just drive up this road to Gimel, and you just drive over here. It's like really a 6-minute drive from Aleph to get to. Okay. And there's gorgeous walking trails all over, like, right, you can just get in your car, drive 5 minutes on any of this like highway over here and just pull over and go hiking anywhere, which is really nice. Okay. Next, here is a home for sale. Apologize. Here is a home for sale in Olive. This is a semi-attached cottage. There are 4 floors, 9 rooms. It's beautifully well kept. It's really stunning. It's 340 square meters, and they're asking 4.5 million shekels. Here is another home. It's also in Olive, and this is a cottage of 300 square meters. Also has 4 floors. Has 11 rooms. There happens to be a downstairs small studio rental, and also asking 4.5 million shekels. And now we're into hay. I just kind of give you a quick like snapshot. On the top is some like architectural renderings, and on the bottom is like what's actually happening on the ground. There's massive construction going on everywhere. There's multiple cranes. It's really happening. It's really coming to life, and it's very exciting. So, and on the left is a little bit of like an overview of the different kind of buildings. I've circled this one. This is the one that faces the green mountains here. Over there is down here in the front here. So this just gives you an idea. Throughout here, there's multiple builders with different opportunities. Again, 2, 3, 4, and even some 5-bedroom apartments that are, like you say, 6 rooms. So 3 to 6 room apartments that are available in Ramat Beit Shemesh on paper. Here's just an example of 2 drawings. Okay, 1 second. Out of the way. This one over here is a penthouse for a room, 122 square meters, and 80 square meter merpeset, asking for 2.6. And then next on the first floor is a farm apartment. It's got the same square meters, a much smaller merpeset, 1.9 million shekels. Great value. Okay. Over here, and this is a boutique building, and this is a 5-room penthouse, and it's also 23 square meters, but it has a very large merpeset, 65 square meter merpeset, and they're asking from 2.4 million shekels. And there happen to be 5 other apartments in this building still available, with smaller merpesets, but they're asking 2.2, and it's a very like upscale building. This building. And that's the teaser that I'm going to give you for tonight. But again, if you make a private appointment with me, I can walk you through more different kinds of layouts and opportunities, whether it's in Gimel, Aleph, or Daled. There are all different kinds of price points, you know, again, from this 1.9 to 3.2. There's a range. It depends on what you want, what your timing is. You want to buy something that's built right now that you could move in. Do you buy as an investment? Are you buying it to move in because you're making aliyah? Where are you holding? Or are you renting? Because I definitely have a long list of people also looking to rent, and we're just kind of like case by case. As soon as things come on the market, I'm trying to share them and get you in line of what's happening and where do you want to be. The truth is, I think what I really want to also create is a database where I have people who want to buy investments and people who want to rent. So I can match them up together, because there's a lot of people who want to buy, but they're still like, they want to buy something right now, but they're not coming for 2 or 3 years. So it'd be a great opportunity for people who want to rent, and I can match them all up together. But also, if anybody needs any help, like directoring, if you need anything still within the school parsha, I don't know, hopefully you're all set up by now because we're like late in the year. But if there's any other other things that you need any direction in, you can always ask us any direction or contacts. We know a lot of people within the community. We connect you to the right people for whatever your needs are, whether they're medical needs or personal needs. Ramat Beit Shemesh has an incredible community, incredible also rebbeim and shuls, and really, really nice infrastructure of people. So don't hesitate to ask any questions. Also, there happens to be a new development. It's not in this presentation, but I just, they were up fixing it a bit, but there is a new building that's coming in near what's called the Gra Shul inside of Aleph, off of a street called Luz. It's a very upscale new project. Every apartment is all on one floor, and it's got heated floors and air conditioning. But prices are starting at 3.2 million shekels, but they're about 156 square meter apartments and a little bit larger. So there's larger boutique apartments, and then you can decide how many rooms you want. You get the square meters, and then you can decide if you wanted 3 rooms, 4 rooms, 5, or whatever amount of rooms. They'll work with you because it's still being developed. But it is a very beautiful and upscale kind of building. But again, that's 2 years down the road as well. So, Kim, do you want to talk about the buying process?
Yeah, sure. Deb, do you want to just stop sharing your screen?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Okay. Great. Okay, excellent. Okay, so there were some questions about buying opportunities and how it works when these projects are a couple of years away. So what happens is that it depends on the project, but usually the developer will want approximately 20% down as a deposit, and then either it's 20% in the beginning and then 80% at the end. However, it doesn't work like that in every project. Sometimes it will be a payment schedule, and it will depend upon the timeline of the construction. So in the beginning, it's 20%. 6 months later, there'll be another 20%. It really depends on the timeline and how far advanced or how long they've got to go into completing the actual building of the project. You can get a mortgage on these projects. Most of these projects will be bank guaranteed, so your money is secured. And we also have a team of lawyers and mortgage brokers that can assist you with asking. We can set up appointments for you. You can ask questions. Many people from all over the world are buying in all these developments. So we feel very comfortable selling these projects. But obviously everybody has to do their due diligence, which we are very happy to help you connect you with the right people to do so. What happens if you decide you do want to buy? We will meet with the developers with you, if it's over the phone, on Zoom, and we'll connect you to talk about what is your budget. Devorah will discuss the best possible options in that budget, and basically what you can get for your money, and the timeline of the project. And then we basically will connect you with a lawyer and the project's lawyer, and then it's just a matter of exchanging contracts. Those of you who don't have bank accounts, we can set up bank accounts here in Israel, mortgage approvals. It can take anything from 2 weeks up to 3 months to get everything sorted out. It really just depends on the project and on the developer. But we've done this several times now. We have multiple families and communities who are actually buying together. And what's nice about these projects is because some of them are 2 or 3 years away. It's a great opportunity if you have friends or family, you want to buy in the same building, you want to buy whatever it may be next to each other. That is also a possibility. Or sometimes people with a larger budget will be able to buy 2 apartments, connect them, or make duplexes, penthouses, whatever they want to do, they can connect. So at this stage, it's really carte blanche. There's so much opportunity going on right now. As I said, the demand is incredibly high. I would say in Ramat Beit Shemesh Aleph, which is the original Ramat Beit Shemesh, where all the Anglos were coming, there is not many new projects. We do have, Deb, I don't know if you spoke about that, there is a more expensive project in the existing Ramat Beit Shemesh Aleph, but you're starting at approximately $1 million plus.
3.2.
How much? $1.2 million.
3.2.
So
It's just under $1 million.
$1 million for that. So a lot of people will, from an investment point of view, want to buy in the other locations because they're not, it's Ramat Beit Shemesh 20 years ago, basically. So you get more bang for your buck. But some people who want more the safety net of having an existing community will buy in Ramat Beit Shemesh Aleph, which is already a developed community, an area that's already, full, and schools. All these other areas are still going to be new, and there aren't many shops. There won't necessarily be shops around for a couple of years, but I'm sure they will build them. There's shopping centers going up all over these areas as well, and new parks as well. What else is there? Let me think. In terms of closing costs in Israel, you have your purchase tax, which is, as a foreigner, you pay more than as an Israeli, and it really depends on your status when you're purchasing the property, and it's anything from 0.5% to 5%. It's acquisition tax, purchase tax. Then you have a broker's fee. In Israel, a buyer and a seller pay a broker's fee. So that is 2% plus VAT of 17%. And then you have a lawyer's fee, which is 1% plus VAT of 17%. So you're looking at anything from a closing cost of, let's say, between anything from 4% up to 8%, depending on the actual purchase price. But I'm happy to talk one-on-one with anybody who's interested in purchasing. Somebody was asking about Givat Eden. Givat Eden. Deb, do you want to talk about that at all?
Eden Hills, it was a development that started about in 2012 as this luxurious, beautiful area, but then they had funding problems. And there is a team of people who are trying to reopen this up. There are some specs. We're waiting to get some more detailed information on really what the opportunity is right there. It's kind of like slow and going. So God willing that, where are we now? In May, I hope to have more detailed information about like really what the opportunity is and how much it is to invest over there. But it's going to be probably starting at $1 million as well.
So Chaya, the project that maybe we are not talking about the same, Deb?
Yeah.
Sorry, one of the people on the call was saying there is a different section that is next to Gimel. So maybe we're talking about a different project then.
Oh, okay. Eden Hills is one, and that's outside of Ramat Beit Shemesh. Next to Gimel, Gimel, Eden, and Shlav 3, Gimel. There is, right, it could be one of the developments in Gimel that is there already, but I think most of them are sold out. I don't know if they have any inventory as of right now, but I can look at it for you.
Mm-hmm. It's next to it. It's next to Gimel.
Yeah.
So there was a few buildings that were up, but most of them are sold out, but I would thought you were talking about a new luxury project, which is Eden Hills.
Yeah, something different. Also, somebody asked here about can you rent a place for a few days? Yes, there are short-term rentals in the community. So if you're interested, text me and I can let you know. There's definitely guest suite apartments that are fully, that have everything there. You have a fridge and an oven and everything set up and furnished, and you can rent short-term to get a feel for the place, whether if it's like 2 or 3 weeks or you want to be there for a month, even up to 3 months, people rent. Sometimes what people do is they come and they take one of these short-term rental guest suites for a few months while they look for the rental that they want, so they have time and they don't feel stressed under lachats of what to just take something. So they come and take a short-term rental. You may pay a little bit more because it's fully furnished, but then you have the choice to, you can shop around, go around and and see what's going to be best for you. And there was someone who came and she made Aliyah, and she did that. And I have to just tell everyone, you cannot allow yourself to get stressed out. I mean, the whole process can be stressful. There's no doubt, but you have to work, and we all have to do it. I'm talking to myself. We all have to work on our emunah. Because Hashem, he's going to send you to Eretz Yisrael. He's going to find your home for sure. Just like finding your shidduch, finding your job, finding everything that comes in your life, it's going to be there for you. So you just have to just talk to Hashem the whole time and say thank you already. Before you even get here, start saying thank you so much for my most amazing apartment. I love it. So a little advice.
Just talking about that, we just had a client that was completely freaking out that they couldn't find anything. And we're like, okay, take a breath. It's going to happen. And that day she found something. It does happen. There's lots of opportunities. There's stuff coming on the market, off the market. But as I said before in the beginning, we're seeing such a huge increase, especially with Aliyah, the wave of Aliyah going on right now, that the prices are not going down. They may stabilize, but right now we're only seeing prices go up. But I'm hoping they will stabilize. And again, if anybody's interested not in Ramat Beit Shemesh, we have opportunities all over Israel, Ashkelon, Netanya, Renana, all the way in Nahariya even. We are connected. We have partner agents that we work with. Actually, next week, we're doing an amazing project in Netanya. So Netanya has always been also a very popular destination for Anglos, and we have a new building that we are involved in selling, which is in North Netanya, which is about a 20-minute walk to the beach, very close to the Ulpan of Netanya, close to the Young Israel Shul. So it's also an area that's very up and coming, and for retirees it's very popular. But there's a lot of also young families coming in. Mala Adamim, we actually have had a request to do Mala Adamim as well, so we probably will be doing that as well. But go on to the YouTube video, and you will see basically if somebody's coming on here. We've done quite a few communities, but I will also do on request. The only thing is I won't do is if I don't think that there's affordable housing options in a location or a supply of opportunity, it's a waste of time really, because I really am trying to find where there's opportunities for people. So if there's one house or two or three houses for sale in the area, it's not going to be something that we're going to showcase. But you should also know that we do parlor meetings. So if you have in your community, we just did something for Baltimore, for Los Angeles we did, for New York, where we get a group of friends together who are looking to buy together. And we will focus our attention on finding those people, a community or areas where they can buying opportunities together. So please reach out to myself and Devorah. We're going to open it up. It's a small crowd tonight, so we're going to open up for anybody who has any questions. Please don't hesitate to ask. Anybody want to be brave enough to ask a question? Hi, Dani. She's disappeared. Her camera's off. Anybody want to ask any questions? No?
Hi.
Hi.
Good evening. Gil from Passaic, New Jersey, over here. Thank you for the presentation. Good, thank you, Baruch Hashem. So I have a question. You mentioned, Dvorah mentioned that, Ramat Beit Shemesh Gimel has mostly Israeli, and then some Americans. I'm assuming that's mostly Yeshivish. So the other areas are a little more mixed. This is probably more Yeshivish?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. And then, so in terms of what's going on in Dalet and Hay, in Dalet you said it's a big project, but there's like a small area that is already populated. So what kind of who's living there? Is also like more Israeli, more Yeshivish?
So Dalet is going to be more Israeli, and it also is going to be Yeshivish. Like I was saying, the buildings that the builder that I'm working with, they're selling to the American Yeshivish crowd that they already know are moving from Har Nof and moving from even some from Ramat Eshkol and even a few people from Geula and different parts of Jerusalem. But it's definitely more of a Haredi flavor, let's call it. will be in the Dalet community. Dalet and Gimel are for sure a bit more Haredi, whereas Hay is going to be a bit more mixed. There's going to be some yeshivish. I have people from Chicago moving there, from Muncie moving there, but it's not as intense, let's call it. It's going to be a little bit lighter, whatever that means.
I think that what you can call it is more like, for example, I know several people, as I said, South African. So in those locations where people have bought, I would say that they are quite a few Beit Shemesh people from Asia Torah have bought there, from Or Sameach. Also people, when I say more colorful, I mean like they'll wear black and white on Shabbat, but during the week they may wear colored shirts.
Okay.
So if that makes sense to you.
You mean hay?
And not even, I'm talking about, hay is Neve Shamir. People get confused. Hay is actually, but then again, I've got people that wear black hats all the time, you know, in that community as well. So I would say it's just a little bit more open.
Okay, thank you.
My pleasure. And we're happy to, as I said, have a one-on-one consultation.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, how you doing?
Finally see the face behind the black face on the street.
Yes.
So where do people who wear like a baseball hat during the week, or you see people with kippot srugot, what kind of neighborhood where you see that? And I wouldn't feel like looked down upon because I'm running in a baseball hat. And I'm running.
You can go running. There's loads of people in this new amazing park. You see tons of people running, women, men, everything. So Deb, you can answer, but I can give you my answer as well.
Okay, so in Ramat Beit Shemesh Aleph, where I live, there are definitely a full mix. It depends on the street. So let's say on the Dolev area, on the street Nechal Dolev, there's definitely a very large range of everything. You know, you would feel very comfortable there with your baseball hat walking around. Most of Aleph, you know, there is a range of people who are living there. So you would definitely, there's lots of little streets off of there, and you would be fine. And even in the new community in Hay, again, there's going to be a range of all kinds of people there. Actually, the mayor, they originally wanted to build it for the secular community. But sadly, the secular community is not moving into Aleph, which is already predominantly different levels of religiosity. They're just not coming here. But there's all levels of Jewish people, observant people who are coming. And there's going to be a very large range. So, and parts of also Beit Shemesh.
I was going to ask if you had anything about the Scheinfeld area.
In the Scheinfeld, I know, I wish. There are a few things. You're looking for a rental or purchase?
Well, right now, I'm coming to Mitzvah Shem in August to visit my kid. I'd like to start these pilot trips going forward. Not going to happen tomorrow, but I'd like to start getting an idea of what community I would consider.
So okay, just to give you a heads up with that, Beit Shemesh is a little bit older. There is an area where Scheinfeld, which is where all the Americans bought their big houses. There is a new project going up there. We have the information. We just haven't gone into it so much because we haven't had such a request for the information for people to buy there. It's apartment buildings.
Right. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for an apartment, not a house.
Exactly. Okay. But that, we could totally look into that for you. But I can tell you now that Ramat Beit Shemesh is definitely more flavorful than it ever has been. And I think that you would feel comfortable totally in Aleph and definitely in Mishkafim and in the new areas of Neve Shamir.
Okay.
For sure. Not even a question.
And I mentioned Gvar Eden because my daughter bought there. So I was curious to know.
Yeah, you were saying, but I know that's why I was there was problems with some of the builders there. So I would have to just double check that. I know
that was a bunch of years ago and they've gotten through that and they actually have the building. These are semi-detached. But I don't think there's any open anymore. They got in.
Not in the, exactly. And there were other developers who were trying to, also there was a purchase group.
Right. Yeah, they were part of that. So I was wondering just how far proximity is that from how far is that from Ramat Beit Shemesh?
Deb, do you know exactly how far it is?
Sorry, which area?
The Eden Hills.
Eden Hills, you have to be a car. You got to drive in a car. It's like an 8 to 10 minutes. Not far.
Okay. I want it to be far enough that they don't live in my house, but it's
okay. Yeah, they can't walk over.
We will not repeat that. Don't worry.
They know it.
Repeat that. Okay.
Okay.
Anyway, it reminds me, sorry, when I was younger and I moved out of home, I decided I'm moving out of my house and I moved into my own apartment with my best friend, but I still took home my laundry every week for my mother to wash.
So kind.
Yeah, anyway.
Sure, thank you. I'll be in touch with you.
Absolutely. So lovely to meet you.
You too.
Anyone else?
People have been posting questions in the chat.
Oh, let's have a look. Hi, Marina. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Okay, let's have a look at the chats here. 1 second. Okay. Deb, can you see the chat box?
Yeah, I don't see anything that we did. We talked about Kivat Eden. We talked about how much you put down, I think. Small rentals. And there are definitely long-term rentals. They come up, all the time because right now summer's coming. So more apartments will be on the marketplace. But I mean, they go quickly. That's the only thing. But yes, there are long-term rentals that are always happening here in the Roma, for sure. There's always
one of the things, sorry to cut in there, Deb, is that people always ask us how many months in advance shall I be looking for a rental. So I would say right now what's going on, if you're coming for the summer, or you need to start looking now. It's that people are actually taking the rentals a couple of months
earlier
to secure the rental, because then there's just not enough rentals available. We are getting calls every single day, not by one person, not by two, by 3, 4, 5 families that are all making aliyah, that they are desperate to find rentals. So you have to definitely give yourself enough time. We actually have 2 clients right now who, because they cannot find rentals, are going to probably be purchasing because they cannot deal with the stress. It's not for everybody, but I'm just telling you, they feel comfortable because they have friends, they have family in the neighborhood, so they feel very comfortable going for it because they know the streets, and they've got people who are we're not just doing it for them, they've got people that they're sending to actually look at these properties.
okay.
So Daphne, to answer your question for investment, absolutely. I think that it's only you will always be able to find a rental, blineda, as we say. And I think that any investment in these locations that we've spoken about is only going to be go up in appreciation. Just remember though, is that in Israel, your yield, which is your rental, what you make on your rentals, is not going to be high. It's not like America. I had a client who told me they bought 7 properties in Arizona because it was much cheaper to buy his properties and get a higher yield in Arizona than it was to buy property in Jerusalem. So it's, I say anytime you're buying in Israel, it's an emotional, a spiritual investment. It's not necessarily that you're going to make tons of money on it. Appreciation happens anything in these areas between 3 to 5% a year. So don't expect huge appreciation. But I'd say people, I wouldn't sell your property straight away, especially when there's a large, like in those areas like Dalet, where they're building loads and loads of apartments. You wouldn't be able to sell those straight away or flip them to make money. If you're going to hold on to it, it will appreciate and you will be able to sell it down the line, but not in the very first couple of years. I would say for you, I would look at probably I would buy in Neve Shamir, because that's the next up and coming neighborhood. Are there any properties under 1.5 million shekels, Deb?
Well, there's 2 bedrooms. If you're going to buy a 2-bedroom, we can find you 1.5. There are some maybe 3 bedrooms, let's say in Dalet, that we could maybe find in the 1.5 range, but you'd be buying in Dalet. If that's
also,
okay.
we may have some apartments. Maybe I have to just check the inventory. 1.5 in Neve Shamir, but they're 2 bedrooms as well.
Right.
And you're talking about like between 80, like smaller apartments,
89 square meters.
Now, if you want to be adventurous and you want to go out of Ramat Beit Shemesh, I can get you apartments in Ashkelon for that price, and you can get maybe a 3 or 4 bedroom. We just sold something in Camiel, which is amazing, but it's quite far up, and beautiful and green. One of my clients bought a 3 bedroom, but it needed work for 750,000 shekels. But it needed work, and it was not in necessarily the best location, but she wanted to get her foot in the door, and that's what she had to spend, and that's what she bought, and she's thrilled. It has a renter already in it. She may or may not make, she doesn't know if she's going to make aliyah, but she loved the green. It's a beautiful community, so she bought that. And you can buy some, I would say the cheapest locations in Israel right now are Beersheba. If you don't know where these are, Google them, Beersheba. We also have some, as I said on our webinars, Beersheba, a new area called Karmei Gat, where a lot of people are buying. Ashkelon, Nahariya. We can talk one-on-one about all these opportunities. There are definitely places, but I can't sell you anything for 350,000 shekels. If you're looking at about 750, I would say if you had $1 million, that's really on a safer bet, to find something more normal. Also, if you want to buy and you're not opposed to buying over the green line, which we're not going to go into, but if anybody wants information, we can talk about. There's so many opportunities as well available.
I find
Hi, Bracha.
Hi. Yeah, hi. So I find like a lot of times, like you focus a lot on, let's say, luxury buyers, but what about, let's say, for average buyers who are, what is like the average price if, let's say, I want to buy a 3 or 4 bedroom apartment, like not luxurious, just regular?
So what we've been showing tonight is what we call regular apartments in Ramat Beit Shemesh. But as Deborah said, for 2.2 million shekels, which is, I don't know what the exchange rate is right now. It's at 3.2. Hold on one second, I'll tell you exactly. You're looking at about $650,000. That's an average. Unfortunately, the dollar's a little bit low right now.
Right.
Yeah, even 1.9, you can get some beautiful places. 1.8. So that's I would say, Deb, would you say I'm correct? 1.8, 1.9.
No, that's Sam. Eretz Yisrael is a step up. It's a step up in your ruchnius, and that's why you're coming. But it is expensive. There is no doubt, but it's worth it. So, like, to give you an example, I used to live in Telstone, and I sold my 3-bedroom, 120 square meter apartment there for 1.8 million shekels. And then we bought here in Ramat Beit Shemesh. This was 3 years ago. And we just decided, we made a calculation. We wanted the most amount of space for the lowest price. So that we bought an apartment on the top floor, 3rd floor of a walk-up. There's no elevator, but it's 156 square meters. So there's 5 bedrooms. And we had to do a little shiputzim.
Renovation.
My mortgage. And now if I was going to sell it now, it would be 1.9 be'erach. I think we paid 1.45, and now it would go for 1.9, and that's just in a 3-year window. I put a new kitchen. I opened up a wall. I enclosed a mirpaset. I put in some new doors, and I painted it. So that's,
So we can
You're saying,
be creative.
An average apartment now, 3, 4 bedroom, is in the $6s in dollars.
in this neighborhood, yeah. Like on my block, I live in the Chal Micha. It's right off the Merkaz, 2 blocks up. It's the most Yeshiva Street is 1 block down, which is Oria, but my block is mixed, so there's a little bit of a blend. And there's an apartment next door to me, the same apartment that I have, and they also upgraded and it's beautiful, and it's on the market for 1.9. So you have 5 bedrooms. You'd have 2 mirpasets, well, 1 they enclosed, and you'd have a little bit of space. But that's kind of like.
Also, what I want to say is part of our jobs as representing our buyers is to negotiate you the best possible price. So we're giving you the asking price. But for apartment that's on the market, it really depends if the seller is how motivated they are to sell. So if you're looking at 1.9, our first offer on an apartment of 1.9 would be 1.7 on the apartment. we negotiate for you.
Right.
So we would try and get you the best possible price. And these are, I wish I had prices like this in Jerusalem. You can't buy anything. I can't even tell you. I mean, so I was like thinking to myself, am I really representing luxury apartments? I don't mean to, because Jerusalem's crazy right now. You can't buy anything for $1 million. That's normal. It's
No,
really,
I know, but Kim, the truth of the matter is the prices even that we're talking about to people who coming from Passaic, they're right.
for sure. I know, I understand. I totally understand it. What I'm saying, I know I have clients that sold their house in Cleveland, I think, and they had a 10-bedroom house, and she sold it for $350,000.
Yeah.
And I told her there was no ways we could get anything in Jerusalem for that price. So, as long as you are a little bit, you have to reframe when you come here. So there are definitely opportunities if you don't want to live in the main city, main areas. But Ramat Beit Shemesh, I still think you can get something very nice for under 2 million shekels.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
A pleasure. No problem.
Just wanted to add that I think a big problem right now is the exchange rate, because when the exchange rate was higher, the same 2 million shekel was in the 5s, and now it's in the 6s. So
Right.
I think that's really the weakening of the dollar has really reduced the purchasing power, and so that's why it feels particularly difficult right now. But of course, who knows which way it's going to go? So
Right. It should just be enough clear sign the Geula is coming. Hashem is going to keep making it harder and harder. When it comes, you're going to have to stretch yourself.
Do you know, Marina, I tell you, it's actually quite insane. But this year, 2020, and when Corona started, the real estate market was one of the highest it's ever been, which is very, very, it's quite incredible that even though this is all going on and the dollar was still low, that people were still making purchases. I don't know where people getting their money from, but it was happening. So it is, I don't quite understand it all, but it's definitely people are doing it. And again, there are mortgage opportunities. Not everybody wants to take out a mortgage, but we do have a fantastic mortgage broker we can put you in touch with, who will be able to, help and guide you accordingly. And I can't promise, like I have my clients, I've been working with some of them for many years, and they're like, Kim, why didn't you push us to about 2 years ago? I'm like, I did, and you didn't listen to me. So are you ready to buy now? But I also believe, like Devorah, nothing in life should take you to a stress. You shouldn't do anything financially irresponsible. It has to make sense for you. We're here to guide you in the best possible way that we can. If you can do it, amazing. If you can't, B'ezrat Hashem, in the near future, you will be able to. And again, not everybody's able to buy. But, if and when you decide to come to Israel, we will help in any possible way we can to help you with anything you need to do, whether it's renting, purchasing, whatever it may be. Short-term rental when you first get here, we can also assist you with.
I have one other question.
Sure.
If somebody is putting down like a large amount because, let's say, they sold their house in the United States, so they have a very large amount to put down, do you still have to prove in Israel that you have a job yet? Or, because like I think in the US, if you put down a certain amount, then they don't care anymore.
No, you definitely have to. Yeah. First of all, it's a good point. Thank you for bringing it up, because I didn't tell you, in a mortgage in Israel, as a foreigner, you have to put down 50%. If you're buying as an Israeli or new or lim, you have a different status, you can put down 30%. But you have to have 50% to put down. And most definitely for your mortgage, they will definitely ask you to prove income.
But how is like a new Ola supposed to do that? Like, it's a very big
I mean, in the beginning, it is a bit. I mean, we can speak to Chaim about it. He's pretty creative. I have many people who have parents, or grandparents who are purchasing for grandchildren, and they're very creative.
Right.
But you will need to prove somebody's paying for this mortgage, and they want to know where the money's coming from.
Even if you're putting down more than 50% of the price?
I'm not sure about that. It depends. I can definitely find out for you.
Well, they may take collateral of your investments possibly towards that.
Yeah. I mean, I can just give you my situation. I was very blessed to have my parents who made Aliyah six years ago. Unfortunately, I lost both of them very recently. But we wanted to buy a house, came on the market next to me in the old city. And of course, we couldn't afford it. And my husband said to me, well, Kim, when does a house ever come in the old city available that attaches to your house? We have to buy it. I thought he was crazy because I was like, how are we going to buy this house? So we ended up using our house that we had just finished paying the mortgage off on as collateral to buy the other property. So, which we did. I mean, where in life you can stretch yourself and it makes sense, you can. As I said before, it has to make sense to you.
Right. Okay. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. And I can give you, if you want the number of the mortgage broker, just to have a schmooze, you can send them a WhatsApp and ask them.
Well, I hate to waste people's time because I feel like it's just too early. I come on these calls, but we don't know I mean, we're going to be making Aliyah, let's say within the year, but I'm not buying anything right away because it just seems like not everybody's in the position to buy, I can't buy until I sell my house. So why am I bothering?
Yeah, be prepared. I feel that it's like doing homework, right? Remember, you get an assignment for your teacher and it's due in 3 months' time. So you wait, and I've got time, and then it all jumps in and you're like, oh my God, it's tomorrow. So the more early on you do your homework and you find out the parameters and what's going on, the more, you never know, you can open your mind up to unlimited possibilities of how, what, where, when, and how. Because you've done your homework, you've asked your questions, you've got some ideas. It's better earlier than later. So even if it's 3 years from now, if you talk to the mortgage broker now and you get a clear mindset and you can create a strategy and a plan for getting there. Also gives you more time to pray.
Also rent for the apartment, make sure that that's a community that you want to be in before you actually buy and put roots down in there.
Right.
Absolutely. 100%. I mean, also with my clients, some of them, I knew it was going to be a little bit more of a complicated situation with getting their mortgages. So what I told them to do was, because they knew they were going to buy, they knew they had money, they had a certain budget that they had, and I made them get their mortgages approved before we actually found the property. So we were working, we were one step ahead. So when we had the property we wanted, we were good to go. And then we knew really how much we were able to spend. So, but I think just education and getting yourself information about the different areas where you want to go it's all part of putting in the shtadlus, So I don't think that it's okay. I've been with some of my clients. I was with a client now for 4 years. And he finally bought something. But how we work, how I work, how Devorah works, for us, it's not about selling a property to you. It's about relationship and that you should feel comfortable in the whole process of buying a home in Israel. And our friends become clients and our clients become friends. So we really, it's not just a job for us, it's what we breathe, it's what we live. We really believe that this is a very important mitzvah to buy a home in Israel. So we're happy to help anybody.
Thank you so much.
It's an absolute pleasure, anytime. So yeah, reach out to us. And if anybody has questions that they would like to, somebody asked about long-term rentals. Rivka, we were just talking about it earlier. There is unfortunately a very, very high demand for rentals right now, especially if you're coming in the next couple of months. So if it depends on when you are making Aliyah, or if you're coming just for a pilot trip, whatever it may be, reach out to Devorah. Deb, do you want to put your email on there?
Yeah, for sure. First of all, my phone number is...
Also, what I want to just tell people, there's a lot of people, please be careful. There's a lot of people who are not registered agents who are advertising themselves, and you need to make sure that you're dealing with trustworthy, reliable brokers who really do understand the business.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure. And again, we're happy to do a one-on-one call with anybody. So let us know. We're doing this every day, a few times a day, and we're very excited. It's an exciting time right now. I kind of feel that you look around what's going on in the world and it's just hard to, nothing's really the same. But one thing is that we all know that Eretz Israel is home.
Right. If you're doing a rental, is there a minimum period that of a lease that you have to sign?
Usually a year.
Unless it's one of those holiday guest suites that is a more short term.
Yeah.
1 year. And just to give you a heads up as well, when you're signing a contract for 1 year, first of all, I tell everybody, please don't sign anything without getting somebody who can look over the contract for you. It doesn't matter if I don't even want your cousin, brother, uncle to do it. I want you to look at it with a lawyer. It's worth paying the money and making sure that you know what you're signing. Ask for an English translation. Understand what you're signing. Okay, very, very important. Also, that when you are renting long term, the renter is responsible for every single bill. What does that mean? It means your gas, your electricity, your water, your Wi-Fi, whatever may be in there, unless it's discussed with the owner. You're also responsible for what's called anona. Anona is municipal tax, and that is anytime you buy or rent an apartment, it's your tax that you have to pay the municipality, and the renter is responsible. And it depends on where you're living, and it's a couple of hundred shekels. It can be a once a month payment, or you can pay it off in one full go in a one-time payment. So it depends on zoning. Every area in Israel is zoned. Now, because I live in the old city, and any of the surrounding areas, like Mamilla, any of like Rehavia areas, anything which is in 20-minute walk to the old city is going to be like zone A, which is the most expensive. So your municipal tax is much higher. The further out you go, it's less expensive. That's just something to just bear in mind. Zoning for Ramat Beit Shemesh, I'll look into it, but I don't know, Deb, what do you pay for Anona? Deb? Did she disappear? Devorah?
I'm here.
What do you pay for Anona?
Actually, my husband takes care of it. I don't even know what I pay for Anona, but it's
Probably a couple of hundred shekels a month.
ways you can get breaks. You know, if somebody's learning, if they've got different things with kids, where you work, what you do. There's a lot of different things that the government gives you discounts for.
Yeah, so it depends on the zone of where you live, and it also depends on the size of the apartment. But I'd say in Ramat Beit Shemesh, it's probably a couple of hundred shekels a month, maybe 300 shekels a month, as opposed to where I live in the old city, which I'll pay about 600 or 700 a month shekels. Again, thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We're going to sign off. And again, reach out to us. My email is kim@kimbeshrealestate.com. My telephone number is, I can put on there, but you can find me on any of Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook.
Yeah, I just have one more question.
Sure.
If that's okay. You mentioned in Mishka Fine that the price for a 3-bedroom is around 1.7, but that seems almost lower than some of the new construction, you know, in Neve Shamir and Neve Dalet. So is that a lower price area, even though it seems so popular, that you can get more for your money there for a 3-bedroom?
The starting price is 1.7, 1.8 for an existing. The truth is they're a little bit smaller in square meters than the new Hay apartments.
Ah, okay.
But
So
also,
that's why
what I wanted to say to you as well, very important, and it's very, very important everybody understands this. When you're getting a basic apartment in Israel, when you're buying from a developer, when you're buying on project, it gets attached to what's called a technical spec, especially when you're buying on paper. So you need to know, what is the apartment coming with? What am I getting for this apartment? What does it include? So technical spec, what does that mean? It means, what do I get? Air conditioning, underfloor heating? What kind of tiles do I get? What kind of kitchen do I get? how many hashmal, the electrical sockets am I getting in the bedrooms? These are all things that are included in what's called a technical specification. So you need to know whenever you're buying on a project, it's very important that you check this with a lawyer, and also that you will get basic apartments. There are no closets in these apartments. There are no light fixtures in these apartments. There are no appliances in these apartments. So these are all things, these are basic standard apartments. Many people are upgrading, like they'll give you a basic kitchen. Now, for example, what is a basic kitchen? It depends on the project, but hypothetically speaking, let's just say you get a kitchen and they say to you, I'm going to give you in your kitchen 5 square meters, I'm sorry, we're doing square meters, not square feet, of kitchen cabinetry. But you want to upgrade the kitchen, and 5 square meters for you is not enough. That's only your bottom cabinets. You want top cabinets, and you want 10 square meters. So you will have to pay for the extra 5 square meters that you want. Or that you want, for example, you want an area for 2 dishwashers, and they're only giving you an area for 1, and they've got to replan it. So these are all things that will probably, you know, we call what's called an upgrade. If you want, for example, on your countertop, you want, we offer in Israel what's called Caesar stone. Caesar stone is what most people have. It's a mixture between man-made and natural stone. But some people may only want marble or granite. Now you're talking about a slab of marble can cost $20,000, even more. So people will be like, okay, fine, you can get your marble, but you're going to pay as an upgrade for that. Or you want a backsplash in your kitchen, and this is not giving you a backsplash. So you've got to understand that when you're buying these apartments, they are basic apartments, but 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to upgrade it some way or another. It just depends on what you want to do. I had a client who just bought it basic and is renting it out, and it was fine. But it depends on the specifications and what you're getting with it. You have to make sure that's checked. Are the specs negotiable with the builder? Yes, they are. It depends on the builder. Those are things that we try and negotiate for you. So, for example, I've got somebody now who wanted they were getting underfloor heating in their apartment, and they decided that they wanted it was electric, and they wanted water. Now, water, when they do the installation, is much more expensive. Electric's cheaper. But water in the long run is much more economical to run. So my client just was not having it. They wanted it to be water. So we came to a compromise, and they ended up doing the water, but my client had to add in a little bit more money.
For heating?
And no, I'm just saying heating. Some people want VRF air conditioning. Or they want an upgrade in air conditioning. The company's offering X make, and they want the best, Mitsubishi, and they're offering a Samsung, whatever it may be. These are all negotiable. So are there any lottery options available still? I don't know if there are, Marina. I really don't. I know there are some certain buildings that were designated for, there's something for those people who don't know, there's something that's called like a lottery, where you enter into a lottery and you get an opportunity to buy at a discounted price in these projects, but these are only for Israeli citizens, by the way.
Well,
so if you're not an Israeli citizen, you do not qualify.
Got it. Does the fact that the apartment has a large percentage of people who bought via the lottery, does that tell us anything about the project or the people who?
Everybody's going to try their luck to get something. No, I know many people like you and me who've just, gone ahead and done it. If not, why not?
Mm-hmm.
There has to be sometimes how the government works, is they say, fine, we're going to give you your permits to build on this piece of land, but you have to offer an X percentage to the lottery system. That's how it works. But it doesn't actually mean they're the best apartments either, by the way.
Mm-hmm. And the building fund with new construction, how they say that your price is tied to the building fund, so it might actually cost more?
Correct. It's called a building index. A building index is where it's like inflation of what, the materials, but it's a very, very small percentage. It doesn't go up that much. You're not talking about hundreds of thousands of shekels. And sometimes you can negotiate that with the builder, that it's a set index. It's set like on a particular percentage. And sometimes what you can do is put more money down in the beginning so that you don't get affected by it. But a lot of people don't. It's a very minimal amount. I wouldn't really worry about that so much. Do you know anybody that's actually won in one of these, like the lotteries?
I haven't heard about it, but I just read that 70% of Neve Shamir are people who won the lottery, at least on one of the websites, which was a surprisingly high number.
I don't think it's 70%. I don't know where you read. You're welcome to send me the article.
Yeah, it's one of the just the pages. And did you say, Devorah, that 100,000 apartments in Dala? Did I hear you right?
Probably. I mean, there is rows, streets and streets and streets and streets.
Oh.
I took a video today. I'll put it on the available in RBS chat later.
I'm not sure how many there are. I just know that I was there today and I've never seen so many cranes and construction going on. It was unbelievable. But it's everywhere. If you go downtown Jerusalem, I was walking the other day into town and I just in my vision, right in front of me were 17 cranes. And that's in city center Jerusalem. They are building like 40 stories in one of the buildings, 27, two other buildings that they're doing. So there's building work going on absolutely everywhere. But I do think that Ramat Beit Shemesh, I think any of these areas, Neve Shamir, Mishkafayim, Dalet, are all going to be just like Ramat Beit Shemesh in a couple of, like, I would say it takes about 10 years probably to really become established communities.
Are they going to build a Makola in Mishkafayim or any other stores or anything? Because right now it's pretty
empty. No,
sparse.
they say they are. They say that, and schools as well. I think there's planned for one school there. People like it because they're getting more bang. They in the beginning bought them on paper, and you can't. There's not that much left anymore in Neve Shamir. There's Mishkafayim. You asked, right? There's not much for. Somebody asked about resales. I agree. Sometimes some people don't have the stomach to buy on a project. It's too nerve-wracking. And I think the prices of resales, you can also pick up some good stuff that's already built, as long as you don't mind a second-hand apartment. But you're right, you're getting to see, what there is with your, it's built already. What I say to a lot of my clients now is when you get a floor plan and you like buying on paper, what I think is a very good thing to do is map it out. They give you the measurements of how it's going to look, what the size of each room is. Take some masking tape and go into your room and measure out what these sizes actually look like. But some of the rooms can be very, very small and people are shocked. And also in Israel, what they do is this is also very important education in real estate. We sell according to the law. In Hebrew, it's called hoch mecher, the Hebrew word according to the law, hoch mecher. And they include a percentage of the walls when they're selling. It's not gross, it's a percentage of the walls. So if an apartment, for example, is given to you, they say it's 100 square meters, but the net living space is probably 90 square meters. So just make sure you realize that. Didn't really understand what I just said. I won't say the Hebrew word, but it's basically, it's the translation is we sell real estate according to the law, according to how Israel sells its real estate here. It's not a gross measurement. It's they include a percentage of the walls. So whatever anybody's selling you, minus approximately 10%. And when you're paying what I spoke about, the anona, the municipal tax, you're paying net. What that means is the actual living space. If you have an attic, you won't pay for all of the attic. You only pay for the areas where you can stand up in, for example. Or if there's a basement and you're not using the whole basement, you only pay for actual living space. Again, I'm happy to talk one-on-one with anybody. We're happy to look into any options for you. A lot of my clients, another thing which you have to know is there's no multiple listing service in Israel. So it's hard to navigate. There are some Israeli websites, but all the agents usually pull from the same pot. So a lot of times people get very frustrated. They'll send me listings from all these places and they'll say, Kim, we want to work with you. We want you to represent us. Can you look into these opportunities for us? And unfortunately, a lot of the listings are not necessarily relevant. They're not current listings. Why the agents do that? Because they want you to call them. They want to get your business. So my advice to you is choose somebody who is reliable, who you can work with, who you trust, and they will work to find you the best possible opportunities. Anyway, so next week we're doing Netanya, if you're interested. And the following week we're probably going to be doing a community. I'm not sure which one yet. But stick around and then we'll, you know, we're happy to talk also. Again, if there's a particular area you want us to investigate or find out for you, we're happy to do so.
Thank you very much. At what time next week?
Same time.
Thank you so much.
Where are you calling from?
Vancouver, Canada.
Ah, how's the weather? I heard it's cold.
It's cold today, and yesterday was cold, but before we had very sunny and beautiful weather. So that's the way it is here. It changes.
But, I can't deal with there.
We had already like 20 degrees plus.
Oh my gosh, I can't. It's too cold. I think I spent I was in Toronto, I was in Montreal. It was so freezing cold. I remember that my friend was getting married, and so we went down for the wedding, and a fiance used to go running every morning, and he used to come back with these icicles hanging from his eyebrows. And I was like, I'm never ever living there, ever in a million years. You could pay me money and I wouldn't live there. It was colder, and I had gone on business years ago to Moscow, and I had been in Moscow for winter, and I was like, there can't be colder than this. But Montreal was the coldest place I've ever been, and I thought I was going to die. It was so cold.
But you know, Vancouver is on West Coast, and we almost never get snow.
I know, but it's still cold. It's still cold for me. It's beautiful. Vancouver is one of those beautiful places, but to me it's still cold. Not colder than Ottawa. Oh, UK.
Where are you from?
Chicago.
Where were you in South Africa from?
I'm originally from Durban, which is a coastal town, but I grew up in Johannesburg.
Our granddaughter is Johannesburg now, so.
Really?
She married
someone from there, and she made an aliyah to Israel, and they are there hopefully for a while, but hopefully.
They've been there for a long time?
And it's almost 5 years.
Wow.
The wedding was in actually Petah Tikva, so
okay.
5 years ago.
Listen, South Africa is a great place. If I wasn't living in Israel, I'd go back to South Africa. Because it is fantastic climate.
Not so much anymore.
Are you there? I know, but you know what? You can't take the African blood out of me. I will always be South African, even though I love Israel. And you don't get peppermint crisp here. I'm talking about my favorite chocolate.
You don't get it much here either. They seem to have stopped it.
Oh no, don't say that. So I was having a crisis during Corona, because usually, during the year we get family who come and visit from South Africa, or my husband's English, so at least I get good tea. But I had a tea crisis because Israeli tea just doesn't do it. So I'd have to use like 3 Israeli tea bags just to get my nice strong English tea that I like. So that was, but again, listen, there's certain things I think we all miss part of our, where we originally come from. But I left South Africa many, many, many years ago. And it's still home in many ways. You know, you never you never lose that part. But
Actually, we are originally from Poland.
wow. I went to Poland for the first time 3 years ago.
We did. So you know what was.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's. I said to myself, this opportunities never arose to me to go, and I always said that when I had the opportunity, I was going to go as soon as I could, and it happened to be when I was married with 5 children already. And my husband said, "You've been wanting to go for so long, go now." And I went on like an adult trip, and it was incredible. And I don't think anybody can really appreciate or understand the Holocaust until you've been. You can read the books, you can see the movies, but
yeah, it's constantly. There are new things that like there's still new and new.
They just
facts are coming up. Yeah.
And it gave me such an appreciation for the land of Israel after I came back, even more
Yeah,
so.
absolutely. Yeah.
For the just it's just I still can't get over the images, and I want to
Like,
really take my children when they're old enough to see, because it's. When did you come to America?
That we have home.
We came 1970. We left in
over for almost 50 years. So now, actually, we left Poland with an intention to go to Israel, but we had family in Vancouver, so we thought we would go for a short time, and the short time became. But now finally decided to make Aliyah.
That is just absolutely amazing. That is amazing. You got to do it.
Yeah, we do. No,
the time is now, and we will help you. Whatever
we
you
have
need.
three sons in 3 different places.
Where?
One in San Diego, California, one in Florida, in Miami, North Miami, and one in Toronto. And we hope that they will. And
you in Vancouver, so none of you are even together in the same area.
Because they all went, like the Toronto went to Princeton, New Jersey to university to get educated, and then he went to Toronto to law school. San Diego met a girl from San Diego, and he's. I mean, we have 11 grandchildren, and the one who is in Florida moved to a year and a half ago because I mean it's his wife is American, and the life there is much easier for us than for them there, and we hope and we pray that they will all follow us. So that's
amen. It's amen. And you know, that's what's happening, by the way, now, is that you see a lot of the parents who are coming before. It used to be the kids coming, but now the parents are coming. So I think that, first of all, it's amazing that you're considering it and very special. And I really hope that you, if anything we can do to help you. Do you know your timeline?
Our house is, we put for sale now.
Our townhouse is for sale, so we are just, I mean, also we have full house of things that were accumulated for almost 50 years.
Wow.
So a little scary, but how to,
just bring your bags.
Full of money.
I wish I could.
Full of money, you're right.
We have paintings, we have things that we love, and we don't know yet what to take, so we'll need some advice, maybe.
I am so happy to sit down with you and talk to you about it, because it's important, you know, and I said my parents also, after living in South Africa for 50 years, whatever it may be, and they packed up a house, and all the children, you know, my mother called us all and said, "You've all been living out of the house for so long, and I still have cupboards of all your stuff. So you wanted what's going, you know, so we're not your storage, you know, rooms anymore. You've got to get out of all the stuff." But just ironically, I have to tell you a story that my parents ended up bringing some very, you know, like antique furniture that belonged to my great-great-grandmother and this and that. And unfortunately, it was sitting in storage until we found them a permanent house to live in. And because I said I live in the old city and you can't get in here with a car, we had these tractors bring in the furniture. And on the day that it arrived, there was a huge storm. It was pouring with rain. And we brought in these tractors in the old city to come into, because you couldn't drive up with a car or anything to the house. And the tractor backed up into a wall, and all my mother's antique furniture fell off this tractor. And every single piece of furniture got cracked or got broken in some way. And at the end of the day, my mother was upset for about a little bit of time. It took a while. And it was just like, at the end of the day, she said, it's just stuff. And it just is what it is. So bring what you obviously bring what's important. But anything you can buy here as well. Just but I would start getting rid of some stuff and decluttering and giving things away.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.